Hey guys, how's it going? It is Kire here with another Infinite Magicraid video, and in today's video is going to be all about Elemental City and the best heroes for this game mode. And currently, I have autoed my way up to 50, and this is where one of the first tests is in Eric because he has an interesting mechanic, but for the most part, this is a ton of wave content where usually it's a wave boss in most other content such as dungeons, whereas this is going to be a ton of just pure wave content, and then every 5 you get a boss. So I think the big key here when it comes to these heroes is that I kind of want to give my thought process on the overarching type, and then I'll break down some specific heroes that kind of fit what we're looking for. And I think the key is going to be debuffs, whether it be CC or attack down. I think those are going to be the biggest things that are going to benefit you when it comes to being able to beat these bosses. So let's break down some of the best heroes for this, and you'll kind of notice some themes here so you can actually look in and see which heroes you got. Maybe some of these will actually fit what you're looking for when it comes to being able to progress through Elemental City. So the first thing is a whole bunch of speed down, freezes, attack down. All of those are going to be amazing. And then such as shields, being able to heal, all those things are obviously awesome too, but they're awesome in all contents of the game. But I think this is really going to emphasize needing to have debuffs and needing to have freezes to be able to survive as you progress through this. And especially on the bosses like Eric, for example, or the different version of Eric, they have a different name for him in this. But what he does is he puts a bomb that if you go, it's going to like guarantee crit and do a ton of damage. So having an attack down is going to be really clutch there. Also, they have nerfs to burn and HP burn damage. So those are big AoE potential moves, but the waves take 50% less damage from those. So we're going to need to focus on bleeds if you want to do debuffs and to be able to actually clear these waves. So here's some of the best ones. Obviously, Santa's going to be the complete best character for this because he provides so many things. It's not just him, but he provides like multiple characters into one. And that's why I think he's the best when it comes to this. So if you ended up getting him, great. But I want to break down why he's good so it doesn't feel hopeless if you don't have him or if you don't have friends that have him. You can bring why he's good to this. And I think the things that he's providing is definitely the freeze on this and the speed down and then the speed up. So, and then if you have him exclusive 3, no other character provides this because it's providing just so much value in one slot on your team here. And that's the discouraging thing, if anything, when it comes to this guy, because he's providing the ability to not die, which is something that people have been using to get through that particular character on stage 50. Whereas I think the concepts here we can apply to other characters, and we might not necessarily get all of them packaged into one character, but we'll get a lot of these abilities because these are not unique to just him. You know, yes, he's providing so much in this one package, but these kind of concepts of not being able to die, for example, Focus and Nordak can do stuff like that. Then we have speed downs, other characters can do that. And then also speed ups, other characters can do that. You know, yes, not all in one package, but we can break it down, hopefully based on the characters you pull to be able to get these abilities in other characters. And so then in this faction here, obviously, you're going to want melee damage there. But some of the unique characters that I think are going to really excel in this is going to be Nasil. He can help with freezing and being able to help your team survive. And this is going to be a big deal in being able to progress through the wave content because he's providing so many freezes. I also think Natalie is going to be a good character for this because Bleed is the one that is not getting nerfed by the passive of Elemental City. And she's the best AoE Bleed character. So that's why I like Natalie a ton. Don't have her, but if I did, I would consider using her, especially as we get further up there because there's other characters such as E2 Melia here when she gets the ability to have AoE HP burn. And then also there's AoE HP burn in Hoff, but this is all nerfed by 50%. And also just because it's nerfed by 50%, it's still really good. You totally can use these HP burn characters for this. And then also I think another thing that's really clutch is these passives on an auto attack that give effect res down 2. It could be effect res down 1, but having it on an auto attack is really nice when you counterattack with Catherine. And then having this means you're going to be able to apply debuffs a lot easier, whether it be burns, HP burns, or bleeds. Because I think the big one that got nerfed by the actual 50% damage is going to be burn damage. Like that is something that normally in an AoE scenario you would want to take burn characters and just completely nuke them. But since they're so burst heavy, that 50% reduction is actually a pretty big deal. So that's why I haven't been liking Bari that much for this. And normally, I absolutely love him in wave content, but because he's so burst heavy, he's so cooldown reliant, them taking away 50% of that damage is actually a really big deal in my opinion. And this, so I built the Feist, I built him. It's just kind of a bummer because this would have been something that he would have been really good at in my opinion, but that nerf is a big deal. Whereas that 50% nerf, in my opinion, on HP burn is not that big of a deal because it lasts so much longer. You just throw them up. It takes one move, no setup, not all this gear requirement. You can just focus on speed and survivability to get back to your cooldowns a lot easier than it would be a burn hero. So when it comes to this faction, pretty much the only one I'm really going to be using is Sigmund. And then obviously this guy is going to be insane when we finally get him, but it's going to take, even if you're full clearing, I want to say 2.5 months to be able to actually get this guy. So it's going to be a long time to get him. Catherine's going to be, probably the MVP like she is in every other content in the game that you can use her in. So she's definitely going to be useful. If you have randomly, if you happen to have a built out Melina, maybe she can help you survive, but that's just kind of random. The other heroes that I just really want to highlight that are objectively going to be really good for this, I would say Luna is going to be pretty clutch for this too, being able to revive and on the off chance that someone ends up dying. Also, the attack down off her passive is good. The turn meter, the attack up. She just has a really complete package that's going to excel in this a ton. Other characters that I think are going to be really good are going to be Tuck. I think, especially if you have me one, we just currently still, there's a few hours remaining on the Miracle Fusion or Miracle Wish Up event to be able to get this guy. He really comes online at exclusive 1. He's going to be fantastic for this, for being able to freeze the waves, being able to just stop them from going, especially as you go further on in the Elemental City. You really need them to just not move. So, or you just either completely nuke them before they go, or you freeze them so you can get a couple turns to be able to kill these guys. I think he's going to be amazing at that. Another one that I've been using a ton is going to be, what's his name? This guy, Quinlan. I think Quinlan's awesome for this. I think he's definitely better at exclusive 2, so you can have this passive here. But if he's just good regardless, you're going to want to pair him with another HP burn character if you don't have him exclusive 2, because what he gets from that is being able to apply the HP burn and then being able to freeze off of his own HP burn. Whereas when he's exclusive 0, he can't do that. So that is one thing to keep in mind when it comes to this guy, that he needs that kind of pairing there with a Hoff or an E2 Melia or a Sigmund, or ideally an Hazania. But if you don't have that, then it's kind of a bummer. But he still is a very good character. His E2 does his A2 does a ton of damage, and he has really good CC plus the HP burn damage there. So I think he's been an absolute MVP for, at least for me, when it comes to Elemental City. And then another one that I bet Ascendo is going to be good for the AoE silence. It's kind of like a pseudo freeze, but not nearly as good, because even the auto attacks of these enemies are going to do a ton of damage to you. So keep that in mind. That silence is kind of lackluster when it comes to clearing these waves, but it's still good. It's better than nothing, in my opinion. I would say Mamic is going to be pretty awesome for this because of his Horrify plus attack down 2. If you happen to get him on his A1, I really like that. He's just going to be super useful even with no exclusives. I wish I had this guy because I would be trying him out, because I really value attack down 2, because that is 40% reduction on the attack of these super amped up characters in harder PvE is going to be really useful. Speaking of attack down 2, I think probably one of the best ones in this, because she provides so much, is actually an epic character here in Visly. I think she's awesome. I've been using her a ton, but I think she's really going to excel here because she has AoE attack down. Unfortunately, it's on a cooldown, whereas on Mamic, for example, combined with Catherine, if they AoE, he's going to be constantly attack downing off the counter attack. And I think that's a little bit more consistent, especially on a boss. But AoE attack down, especially when combined with speed up, crit rate up, and then also having speed down. And then when they attack her, she has the 25% effect res reduction. It also goes to 50% when you get exclusive 1. So very good character in the sense she packages in so many good things. So that's why I'm a big fan of Visly here. So that's been another character I've been using a ton. Another one, Space, is going to be really good, being able to get that turn meter going, being able to turn meter reduction. I think that's going to be awesome. All the way back to Sword Harbor Guards, just speaking of turn meter manipulation and being able to CC is going to be Ben Austin, because you can pair him with characters like Space, and being able to make them call in is going to keep re-triggering that turn meter reduction effect. And then this is kind of like a pseudo Sindo move where it's going to steal the cooldowns, so then they're essentially silenced. With him, though, the benefit is going to be he's going to also get more turn meter gain when he does that. If you get him with enough effect hit, it's going to be very reliable, even though you can't get it to 100%. It's just too low of a percentage base. But I think he's been probably the best mythic, right up there with like a Luna for something like this. Maybe an Alakastra would be really good for this too, as well, because I think Alakastra would actually be insane for this, to be honest, because he's providing, you have the Horrify plus Freeze combination here, and then the attack up plus defense down. It's going to be really good. And then if he dies, it's not the end of the world either, so, because of his passive right here. And that's pretty much it when it comes to these characters. The kind of unique support characters to get you through. I think also probably this guy would be good if I had to guess. This guy can get you through campaign because of his passive on being able to freeze. He has an AoE speed down here plus freeze. It's just unfortunately on a 50%er. I wish it was on a 60%, because if it was, then it'd be guaranteed when you had enough effect hit. But overall, I would say this guy's actually going to be pretty solid for this because of just how this mechanic works. There's no real boss mechanic in a lot of these waves, so just being able to get to them, CC them, and slowly whittle them down is going to be pretty clutch, and I think he would actually be really good for that. So these are going to be the main heroes here. I just kind of wanted to highlight some of the things I'm looking for in heroes when it comes to Elemental City, and this is really difficult content, so stuff like this is going to hopefully help you guys out. If you guys have any other characters you guys want to highlight, definitely let us know down in the comments below. And with that, guys, I'm out of here. Peace.